Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in, and I want to start off this video by showing how grateful we are for hitting 1,000 subscribers. 2 weeks ago we had 500, not even 2 weeks ago. Now we have 1,000. It's unbelievable, and thank you. And here's my sweetheart over here.
Hi everybody, thank you for the 1,000 subscribers.
That's right, and big boy.
I'm happy.
So when you turn on the news today, no matter where you are in the world, it's gloom, it's doom, it's negative, it's bad, and it can have a toll on our mental health. This video and the video after this are going to be feel-good videos. Interesting things happen in the Philippines, that's for sure. And two things happened to me, and I want to share it with you right now. And so I was in a small village right alongside the ocean, just like this town here, and I hear a commotion. And so the house that I stayed in was at an intersection. I was on the corner house, and the streets were maybe eight or 10 streets that way and 8 or 10 streets that way. They're all straight as an arrow and flat as a pancake. You could go out and sleep in the middle of the street. There's no car coming. A very quiet, small town. So I hear a commotion, and I go to the front door and I look out, and in the middle of the intersection to my left is maybe 5 or 6 boys, maybe age 12 or so, throwing rocks, not big rocks, rocks a little bit bigger than a marble, I think, at someone. And I look to my right, and there's an elderly man, and they are all throwing rocks at him, and he's yelling, and I'm like, what is going on? I storm out of the house. The boys vanish into thin air. They run away. I go to the gate at the end of the sidewalk, and I look over, and this man is looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and we're not saying anything. And I'm 6'6", and so in some places it's unusual to see a foreigner. It's highly unusual to see someone as tall as I am. So he's staring at me like I'm in a circus act. He makes his way up to me, and this is what he says. Well, right away I know he has a severe mental impairment. He doesn't look like he has Down syndrome. Everything looks normal, but that's how he spoke. And so I'm sitting there like, I don't know what to say. And so then a thought popped in my head. I ran back inside, and we had something a little bit bigger than a hot dog roll. I got 4 buns. I opened them up. We had pasta. I put spaghetti. So 4 spaghetti sandwiches, 2 ice cold San Miguel's, and I ran back out. And so now I'm at the end of the gate. There's 2 little concrete columns supporting the gate. Or the food is sitting right on there. He has a beer and a sandwich, no teeth, but you can gum that down. And then now the boys are back, peeking around the corner, watching this man drink an ice cold beer and enjoy a delicacy. So back in those days, if you're poor and there's no Jollibee, it would take hours to get to a Jollibee. Poor people don't eat spaghetti. Back in those days, it was hard to come by, and it was expensive. So they're watching this guy eat spaghetti, and so we're having our meal, and he's talking to me, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, okay. And then what happened? So we enjoyed ourselves, ate the food, drank the beer, and I thought, well, now this is it, it's over. And then another thought popped into my little pea brain, and I ran back inside and got some money, and went back out and motioned for him to follow me. And we went right around the corner where the boys were, and 2 buildings up is a little store. School supplies, flip-flops, t-shirts, the most basic and the most minimal things. And I go inside, and he didn't come in. So the reason he didn't come in is because he's a social outcast, and also I want to speak about his appearance. His hair was greasy, matted. He hadn't combed it, hadn't washed it, I don't know how long. He had a beard, somewhat, a little bit longer than mine. When you wash clothes in the Philippines, you hang them out in the sun to dry. The sun will take its toll on that fabric and the color. You hang it out enough times, and they just look dingy. You might get it clean, but it looks terrible. His t-shirt was absolutely faded, torn, and filthy. And his shorts, filthy. He had on 2 slippers, 2 flip-flops. One was yellow, one was red. The red one was missing the back half. So when he was walking around on the ball of his foot with the red one. His feet, toenails, dirty. They were almost like charcoal from the ankle down. So I motioned for him to come inside, and he wouldn't come inside. And I finally persuaded him to come in. And the mother and the daughter's about 10, she's the store owner, the look on her face, obviously she didn't want him in there, but Mr. Dollar Bill is in the store. So we go over to the flip-flops. The young girl pulls a pair of flip-flops out, and he tries to put it on. It's too small. She went to put them back on the shelf, and the mother screamed at her. Obviously that flip-flop has to be sanitized. So we got 2 sizes bigger, it fit, I got 2 pair. Then we went over to the t-shirts. I held a t-shirt up to his body, and he wore a medium. I got him 2 t-shirts, 2 shorts, 2 flip-flops. That cost me $6 or $7. They put it in a plastic bag. We went outside the store. I waved to him goodbye, and he left. The next day, someone in the house said, "Hey, your friend is here." And I peeked outside the door, and he was about a block and a half away, maybe 200 feet. And he was walking, and he had on the new clothes. And I could tell that he had taken a bath, and he had on the new clothes, and he would walk about 20 feet, and then he would stop. Then he would walk 20 feet and then stop. He was checking out his new clothes. He didn't have a mirror, I'm sure. He came up to the gate. No more spaghetti. I took out 2 beers, and we're at the gate, and we have our little conversation, right? I enjoyed it, and then I looked at him. His hair was cut, clean, and combed. He had shaven. He had on his brand new clothes. His feet and his toes were clean, right? He was walking around like a distinguished gentleman, right? And so it felt good to bring someone up with just a couple of pieces of clothing. $6, and look what I did. And so, you know, we had a couple more conversations, a couple more beers, and maybe 3 days later, I left to come back to America. 2 months later, the news came that he had passed away, and I learned a little bit more about him. He lived in a nipa hut down by the river, which what that really means is they were squatters, people who squat by the river and build a home out of whatever materials they can find, don't own that land. No one runs them off, but they're squatters. They're very common over here. He was a squatter. Obviously, his parents were dead. Some distant relative was letting him stay there and feeding him, and they probably didn't want him there, but they had no choice. Anyway, I thought he was in his 50s. He was in his 70s. And I also found out that after I left for those 2 months, he maintained his appearance and walked around the town with clean clothes. And so, you know, it was good. I felt good about it. And anyway, I hope you enjoyed the story. I got another one I'm going to tell you in the next video about a Marine that landed in the same town, and gave a gift to a kid. I'm going to tell you about what that gift was. Anyway, like, share, and subscribe. We love you, and thank you.